Yeah, so that in case folks have to leave or forgotten here, then they can get the tool as well. Yeah, so this is how you register your team. You have your team name, your members, your team leader, and team type. Yeah. And this is what we're going to be doing during the week. So we're going to have the kickoff call, which is right now. The 28th of April is the deadline for submitting your initial idea. This does not have to be a page. It can be a sentence. It can be 2 sentences. That's absolutely fine. This is just, you've brainstormed a bit, you've gone back and forth, and you've decided this is the idea you're going to be going forward with. Now, I said this can be a sentence. This does not mean that it is just something to casually throw out there, and just like, that's it. I would even say that this might be the most important part of the hackathon. In my experience, what makes a truly great piece of research, which is extremely valuable, is not just the implementation, it's not just the communication, it's not just how many resources it had, but also what even is the initial idea. If you have a really great research on snail shells, then that's going to be fantastic, but it's going to be limited by the scope of your idea being snail shells. So I really strongly recommend going through the explainer document and really going back and forth on what a really great idea that figures out how precisely we have the preferences in the models is. And I think spending that time really properly is a really good idea. So I strongly recommend taking the time to really get that down. But yeah, when you actually submit it, it doesn't need to be anything that detailed. It can be literally just 1 or 2 lines. Also on the 28th, after the deadline for the idea submission, I'll be leading a tutorial on how to set up and load benchmarks from Hugging Face and how to set them up in either a Jupyter Notebook or an IDE. On the 30th of April will be the deadline for submitting your initial work. This doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be a finished prototype, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be everything that you have. It's just what you have so far, right? What you've done so far. It can even be unfinished, that's fine, just what you have so far. And then we can give you feedback on, hey, here's how you can improve this implementation, here's how you can load this in more cheaply, here's how you can access an easier API, right? That kind of thing. Yeah? And 2nd of May is going to be the deadline for your final work. All of these deadlines are for midnight UTC. If you can't make the exact deadline, don't worry about it. This is more for giving you a strong overall structure so that basically you don't lose track of time throughout the week, and then by the end of the week you're like, God damn it, I didn't actually do what I wanted to do, right? This way, no matter what, you have something useful and productive that you have out of this week, and you have something to show for it. You're like, damn, I really did some frontier research this week, right? And on 3rd of May is going to be the presentation evening. If you want to, you can make a slideshow. You do not have to at all. If you want to, you can literally just show your code and talk about it, or not show your code at all and just talk about what you did. Yeah? I'll move forward now to what we'll be doing further on. So I'll talk a bit more about what making the idea is like and what that process should be like. Yeah? Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, there is a recording, but actually, would anyone else be okay at all with sharing their screen as well? Sean, would you be okay sharing your screen? Okay, sorry, I didn't answer that. Or Abby, if you wouldn't mind at all, would you mind sharing your screen? Just so that other people can see your screen as well? Would that be okay?
Yeah, what do you want me to share?
I just share your screen, so I assume you're watching my screen. Would you mind sharing your screen so that other people can see your screen while you see mine? Would that be okay at all?
Yeah, let me try.
Fantastic, thanks so much. Yeah, sorry everyone. That should be okay. You should be okay to watch Abby's screen there as they watch mine. Yeah. Please let me know. Thanks for letting me know about that. Please let me know if there's any other issues. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we'll be talking a bit about what making the idea is like. And by the way, if for some reason anyone's not able to make it to the school, or your teammates are not able to make school, it is recorded, and I'll be sharing it with everyone after the talk's over as well. So we talk about making of the idea. So first of all, I want to be very clear about the difference between a capability benchmark and an alignment eval. So capability benchmarks are also important, but alignment evals measure something different. A capability benchmark measures if a model is able to do something, if it has the capacity to do something. I'm going to put this in gym bro terms because I went to the gym early yesterday. And so a capability benchmark is literally what is my max PR? What am I able to lift? What is the max amount of weight my body is able to lift off of the ground? An alignment eval will be measuring my preference. What would I actually want to do with that strength? Do I want to punch old women? Do I want to help them across the street? Right? Whereas a capability eval would measure how far will they fly when I punch them. And right, so what we're measuring, those are both important things, important properties to be measuring, but they're very different things to be measuring. Right? So we want to make sure that when you're, whatever test, whatever benchmark eval you're coming up with, that you're measuring the preferences, not the capabilities. And if you wanted to ask more questions about that, please feel free to do that in the question channel or after this talk as well. Yeah, there will be space for that as well. Okay. Also, very important. Make a test, not a training set. One of the major pitfalls of the current static dataset paradigm is that all of them can be used as training sets, and that's an easy way to both exploit them and just abuse them to increase the capability of the model. Right? You do not want to do free labor for an AI lab. Right? You want to make a test which is a good research by itself. Right? So I'd highly encourage you to think, even if you're making an environment-based eval, is this going to be just a training set which will just improve the capability of the model if it's trained on, or are you really testing the preferences? So I really strongly encourage to think about that as well, both as a way of red teaming your idea and also seeing if it is what you want to actually be doing. And so this is now something to think about from the perspective of blue teams. If you are a blue team, you're making a new type of benchmark or you're improving an existing benchmark, and you have this really good idea. If you wanted to cheat your own benchmark, you want to get a high score on it without actually having the preferences which you're trying to test for, how would you cheat your own benchmark? Even if you don't know the exact implementation, do you have ideas for that? And how can you then improve your benchmark, improve your idea, so that would be more difficult? If you want to talk more about that or ask about that, I'm happy to help with that. And now from the red perspective of red teams is, suppose you've done a cheat. You've done some kind of exploit of a benchmark, right? Now imagine that you're a blue team and you want to argue that actually you haven't actually cheated a benchmark, you've just found a different way of getting a high score in the benchmark successfully. But actually this isn't a cheat, it's just the correct way. Or what other way would you argue that your cheat is invalid? Right? And then counterfactually, how can you say, what can you do to make it harder to say that your exploit, that your cheat, isn't actually a cheat? How can you make it clear that yes, you have actually got a high score in the benchmark in a way which the benchmark makers did not intend? How can you make that really clear? For example, if you're fine-tuning a model in English because you notice that the benchmark only tests in English, right? Also fine-tuning it in Sanskrit or in Japanese, etc., to be explicitly harmful. Right? How can you explicitly show that yes, the model really is unaligned, it really doesn't have the preferences that the benchmark was trying to test for, but it's got a high score anyways. right? How can you argue against your own cheat? Yeah. Now I'm going to be talking about the implementation of the idea. Here I'm going to be a bit less specific because different ideas will be implemented in very different ways. Instead, I'm more going to be talking about the resources which are available to all the teams. So I've mentioned, by the way, that all teams have a compute and API compensation available to them. Please do call on this. We have about $2,000 total in TPU credits available for teams to use. And we can probably raise that as well. So if any of you are comfortable using TPUs, please let us know. I will also have a Mac Mini here as well. So if you just want to like run some tests like locally on like some models where you don't have a GPU, I'm happy to try to run that for you here as well. Yeah, and there's other team members as well who are happy to help. Yeah, so if you want to just get some GPUs up and running online and you don't have one available, these are the two things that you can use. Vast AI is easy to use, it's easy to set up, and quite reliable as well. The main downside of Vast AI is that it's not as cheap, it's not free compared to a Google Colab. There's also Google Colab Pro, which is $9.99 per month for a very good amount of compute. The main downside of Google Colab is that it breaks or is inconsistent and has problems much more than Vast AI GPUs have. Right? So if all you're looking for is quick and cheap testing, which doesn't really matter if it breaks or not, then Google Colab would be your go-to. And if you have some idea formulated or you have a bit of spare change, then I'll say Vast AI as well is going to be a go-to there. Yeah. If you want some advice on which specific one you want to use, then feel free to ask. Yeah. And again.
Sorry, the echo is pretty bad.
Oh, sorry. Let me see what I can do about that.
Echo specifically happens when watching Abby's stream rather than Kabir's stream. When I
Did you
watch
try?
Kabir's stream, I don't hear the echo.
Did you try muting me?
Yes. Let me try that. Sorry.
Or it might be an individual.
It could also be. It could be that. It could also be if you mute Abby's stream. Actually, sorry, Abby, I should mute you too. Actually, Abby, would you mind just muting yourself just for a moment? Thank you so much. Yeah, it could also be if you are watching Abby's stream, then so on here. So then if you, yeah, so if you turn Abby's stream volume. Sorry, 1 second. Discord is. Let's see. Yeah. So here. So if you turn the stream volume down to 0, then yeah, that's going to be like getting rid of that that issue there. Yeah, that echo issue. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. Please let me know if there's any other issues.
I think the room is full again. I started to stream myself.
Yeah.
Somehow this person thinks that more people can get on.
Mm.
But there's still also other folks trying to get on the camp because the room is full.
Okay.
I'm wondering if things still in room 2.
Yeah. So okay. So I think folk could. The room is full. Okay, I didn't even know that was going to happen. Yeah. So I think maybe some folk could join in room 2. Yeah. So some folk could join in room 2. I'm not sure how they would see the screen. What I can do. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if Discord rooms could get full. I'm just going to see if I can. Okay, it should be 99 user limit. I don't think we're at 99. Yeah, there should not be a room limit. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, Brian, if you could take a look at like how to sort that out. I think Brian's looking into that. Yeah, I'm so sorry guys, if you're not able to join the room, there's not much I can do right now, except for letting you know that this call is going to be recorded. If needed to be, then I'm happy to do another call as well later today for folks who weren't able to make it, if that comes down to it. But yeah, the call is recorded and I'll be sharing the video as well after the talk. Yeah, so as I was mentioning, these are the two main things which are available for GPUs, assuming of course that you don't have your own GPU available locally. Also there is the TPU Research Cloud. So if you are comfortable using TPUs or learning how to use TPUs quickly, then if you sign up for the TPU Research Cloud or you make a GCP account, you can get $300 in free credits pretty quickly, and you can get TPU Research Cloud a permit quite quickly as well, and get like a couple $1,000 in free credits quite easily. If you're interested and you're comfortable with it, then I think it's a very good deal. Though of course using a TPU is less convenient than using a GPU. And now for LLM APIs, if you're not, assuming that you're not using a local model and you're using LLM through an API for benchmarking or for doing an eval, or for our purposes in the hackathon, then these are going to be the cheapest options that you have available, in that they literally have a free version. So both Grok and Gemini have a rate limited free version of them for the APIs, and Grok and Gemini both are very cheap as well, even when they're not free. So if you're doing some initial tests, then I'd say they're a good way to get started without spending too much money. Also, during this hackathon, we are very lucky to be partnering with HUD Evals, and they are offering their API for free to everyone who's taking part in the hackathon. So if you're doing a computer use type eval, then you can use this eval for free, and they are also sponsoring with $200 for winners of the hackathon as well. And so if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me, also to ping Meguin on the Discord as well. And yeah, that's it for the Kickoff call. Thank you so much, everyone. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take them now. Yeah. Oh yeah, Brian, if you could recently refer. Yeah. Anyone have any questions at all about any of that?
According to Claude, apparently if you right-click on the voice channel,
Mhm.
you can select Edit Channel, and then change the user limit setting to 0, and that will make it unlimited people. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's true, but
We are currently at 99 users for the limit, so I don't know.
if you set it to 0, it should make it unlimited. Supposedly.
I read online somewhere that for video calls in Discord you're limited at 25 for the free version, but I'm not a Discord expert.
So okay, so I moved it to that. I can get Nitro for the rest of the hackathon. I'm not sure why my video is not showing. Okay, so video chat isn't available for movement. It's because we're doing video chat. Oh, I see. Okay. Right. Okay, I will just quickly get Nitro, I guess. I'll do a server boost.
Hold on 1 second. I have a free Nitro.
Oh, okay. 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 Yeah, I'll do. Cool. Sorry, guys. Okay. Apart from the Discord stuff, does anyone have any questions about the hackathon or submitting the idea or submitting that kind of stuff at all?
Did you have maybe this was on the page and I didn't see? Is there just an example of a proposal for each of the teams?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So I can actually just share the ones from last time. So I can share the final. 1 second. So for the initial idea, let me share screen here. So here's some of the ideas submitted for teams from the previous hackathon for the initial idea. So one said, we plan to enhance the evaluation benchmark, initially focusing on salad bench. Verbal methodology can be extended to other evaluations. Our goal is to refine the scoring mechanics, etc., etc. Let me get this Discord thing sorted out super quick. If I do a boost, okay. So teams talk about, okay, they want to extend this paper and see what else what they can do, and they say how they intend to extend it. Other teams say, thank you so much. Okay, other teams said they want to use the aligner method, and say, okay, they want to use this. And one team literally just said they just want to build a benchmark for robustness to arbitration, right? So it can literally just be as short as that, or it can be quite long as well, saying a step-by-step thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Happy to help. Any other questions at all?
You gave some advice, like, when you were talking earlier about how to approach it as a blue team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, like, a similar, like, kind of... I know you talked about, like, guides for red teams and blue teams,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, more examples of, like, how to approach this as a red team?
Yeah, so for a red team, I would... But have you had a chance to already look at the explain document?
Yes, I did.
Okay, sweet. So for a red team, first of all, I would say look at the existing benchmarks, and look at which benchmarks, if you intend to red team like a benchmark you have in mind, and then have a look at that, see, okay, what is it doing, how is it trying to get the information, and how can you give it information that looks like it but isn't actually that information, right, so that we can get that higher score. And how can we also make sure that this generalizes, and how can we make sure that it's looking like the benchmark but it's not actually, right? That's just the general approach. Is there a specific question that you had about a specific kind of benchmark which you wanted to red team?
Not right now.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome. Any other thoughts at all, or any other questions?
Yeah, thanks for the,
Okay.
hosting the hackathon. It's great.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Okay, and so I'm so sorry, guys, about the issue with this. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not really experienced with that, but I'm a security person, so I understand that you are testing what capabilities does that thing have, and I understand that. So, is there also a benchmark for what capabilities does it not have? You know, if I have training data that is partially sensitive, and I would like, but the model is not leaking the sensitive parts of my training data, like, you know, there were credit card numbers in there or something. Is that within the scope to test the model for what it doesn't do, or what the capabilities actually should not be, or is that a completely different discipline?
So a benchmark for capabilities is quite a different thing from a benchmark for alignment. So when we're benchmarking capabilities, we are seeing the capacity, the limits of the capacity of the model, whereas when we're benchmarking the alignment of the model, we're trying to understand the preferences, right? The limits of your capacity and how you prefer to use that capacity, those are quite different properties. Yeah?
Okay, I understand. Thanks.
Happy to help. Yeah? Any other questions at all? Okay. In that case, I'm happy to wrap it up for here for this call, and I will see you guys in the next call. Thanks so much. But for everyone who wasn't able to make it to this